Welcome to day 74 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of July 2000, which was X-Men.
It was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
It
I
was
was
much
actually,
better than I thought it would
yeah,
be.
I was surprised because I
Yeah.
was thinking like this is gonna be like
Standard.
super action time,
Yeah,
and
super action, super serious action time.
yeah, and it
But
totally wasn't.
I genuinely enjoyed all the characters.
Including Magneto.
Yeah, including
I
Magneto.
really like Magneto as a villain.
I also like the relationship between Wolverine and Rogue, where it's not a romantic relationship, which I'm really super happy for. It's like a more of like one between like a brother and sister, or just like
It's
a
almost
father figure.
it's almost parental.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's almost parental and
I
stuff.
want to maybe say by the end of it, I was like, you're like her dad.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it was like so sweet and everything, and it's like this like a
Get your
nice
hands off my
like
bitch.
breather to have like that be the center relationship and not it be like some like in Mission Impossible where they centered on the romantic relationship that really shouldn't have been the focus.
yeah,
No, it didn't work
yeah.
or anything like
There
that.
wasn't like a romantic relationship at all. I mean, okay, like sort of between
The
uh
Doctor
and
and
Cyclops, but it was
yeah.
like real. It was not a focus at all.
No.
And even then, they also, especially because again, I think I've said this before, is that I really, when movies are like, oh, we need to start a romantic relationship, right? And so,
Yeah.
because even if like it's not the focus, that whole starting a relationship like takes time away and all that kind of stuff. This, it's like, yeah, they're a thing, whatever, right? It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like, who cares? Move on. So that was nice that they didn't really flounder with that.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I was, if anything, this is like, if anything, I actually felt the beginning, like the first half was like a little bit too slow. Like just a little bit. Because again, it's like, totally not what I was expecting in terms of just how they were kind of handling the material.
Yeah. Because with an action movie, you expect it to go like really fast paced and everything, just like da 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 da. But this was like it took its time. It let you introduce the characters that you liked too, and you were interested in seeing, like, and they like dropped enough information about the characters where obviously they can still expand it upon that they can still expand upon it in later movies.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it was still enough where they weren't like a complete mystery to you.
Yeah.
And I also found it interesting how they started with like the main villain's backstory as opposed to like other people's backstories and
Yeah,
stuff.
I really
Mhm.
like that. Like, I remember in the beginning we were just like, this is like the third or fourth World War II scene we've seen like in a movie.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting, just kind of the way they handled this, and it's a way that does. Well, okay, it's kind of one of the troubles with like Captain America, where it's like this is automatically kind of a silly concept.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
do we deal with that? And like this, and so the fact mutants have mutant powers, like okay, that's silly, right? And
Yeah.
but like they don't like try to hide it, be like, oh, it's secretly not silly. It's like, no, it is, but they just kind of
Yeah.
just ignore
They
it.
just
Roll
roll
with
with
it.
They
it.
just roll with it, and then but then once you get past that, which I feel like you can since they don't spend so much time emphasizing that you can get past it fairly easily, and then from there it's like, okay, you've accepted that this is a thing. What seems reasonable that would happen? Right?
Yeah.
The fact that like a bunch of people are afraid of them and all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, that makes total sense, right?
Yeah.
And they also don't have it, because I've seen this kind of angle taken in a lot of ways. Like I know, I didn't see the movie, but like the Fantastic Four movie did this, and like I know, for example, the Ninja Turtle stuff does this or whatever. And so a lot of the times it's not handled that well in terms of like, oh, they just think they're freaks for like no reason or whatever. And it's like, well, at least there's actually a reason, because like stuff
Yeah.
happens, right? And so
Yeah.
it makes, again, it totally makes sense in terms of the context, and it's handled pretty well. And again, also because of that reason, you totally understand Magneto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with how his motives are and the fact that you even get some of his stuff from Xavier, it really helps humanize him a lot. And
Yeah, you don't see him as just this big bad guy who just wants to rule the world and everything. Or
he's
like,
someone who's very angry, but there is a reason for him to be angry.
yeah,
Yeah.
because of what you saw in the beginning of the movie and everything. And they made sure to humanize him from the start because of that scene in the beginning.
Mhm. And it's not just that scene in the beginning either, because again, his argument you completely see,
Yeah.
like on the other side of that, and why that he would make that argument. And in a sense, it's not even that the argument's the problem; it's that his method is the problem, right?
Yeah,
So-
that's his method.
Yeah. And even then, like the method, well, okay, put it this way, because the whole thing is that from his point of view, he didn't know that his plan was gonna like kill everybody, right? So,
Yeah.
And even then, from his perspective, it's not like he is like trying to take a ton of control or trying to like kill a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Like
He's just trying to get people to understand what it's like to
right.
be
It's not
like
even
him.
Yeah, because I know some villains they're like oh I think I'm right when it's like. Dude, you're trying to kill like a million people. You're not right. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
it's not like that. It's actually legitimately like, hey, if you actually think about it from his perspective, his plan does not seem evil,
Yeah.
right? So that is kind of interesting how they handle that.
It's like N from Black and White. From Black
Oh
and
yeah.
White, yeah. Where you could see what his argument is. It wasn't the greatest argument in terms of like once you learned about what was going on and everything. That won't be spoiled, but it kind of reminded me of that too.
hmm And I will say actually the effects again considering 2000 are pretty damn impressive actually.
Yeah.
And it's not
Really,
just all
really
CGI.
nice.
It's not just all CGI either. So
There was a lot of practical stuff, which was really
Yeah.
well done.
yeah.
There were a lot of really hilarious moments.
Oh yeah. They kept the humor, which is really nice.
Yes, which is something Mission Impossible had to learn from.
Yeah. I do feel almost that like the action scene, I guess like the main one with like in the Statue of
In the
Liberty,
museum.
Yeah.
thing. It was almost too silly. I don't know. Like it felt like I just personally, again, this is like such a minor complaint, but it was like I almost felt like it was a little bit too goofy. I don't know. It felt slightly tonally off, but again, like it's better. I think it's overall better that way than like oh, we're so serious and doing super serious things, and then we jump off of motorcycles and hit each other in the face. You know what I mean? It's like it's not.
Yeah.
I
So
think that
it's
scene was
better.
meant to kind of. I think that scene was kind of meant to be self-aware, or something
Yeah,
like
I
of the
think it
genre that it's in. So
That's
maybe
fair.
that's kind of why it did that.
Yeah, it's super minor. So, but it was like a thought that crossed my head. It was. I don't know. It is kind of interesting because like we don't. At least I don't. I assume you don't. Know like anything about X-Men at all. So
No.
in terms of like what character does what or whatever so it was just kind of interesting to see it. I like I recognize that name, like I know that's like a person or whatever.
Yeah,
So it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, but again, just seeing like that's what they do. And so I also because like we have like no preconceived notion of anything. So there's probably like some person who's like, oh, they ruined this character because the blah, but it's like whatever. It doesn't matter,
At least in the frame of context that we know, they're perfectly fine.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah,
problem with anybody.
they're definitely much better than other movies we've seen.
Yeah.
Oh,
that have tried.
certainly. Certainly.
So at the very least, we can compare this movie to all those other previous movies that if anyone would like to see, please don't see them.
Watch this instead.
Yes.
If you somehow didn't, like the three of us didn't.
Yeah.
I am actually kind
I
of
just-
curious. I am kind of curious now to actually watch the sequels.
Yeah, I know, right?
Um,
I am curious, but at the same time, if people typically say that like one character was ruined, I'm just like, but then I don't want to taint the image I have of them,
Mm.
I
Well, no,
don't know
I was saying that like
sequels.
when I was saying the character was ruined, I was just saying that like people who have like I don't know grown up with like the comics or the show or something would say that this movie changed something.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying we had no idea about that. For the next movies, yeah, I have no idea, and I have a feeling that like again, I'm just spitballing here. I don't remember, but I think I've heard that like the third one is like not very good. I think, but I don't really know. Because again, like search up like X-Men movies. There's like 15 of them, so it's like I have no idea like what's in
Yeah.
what continuity or anything. So
Yeah, because they could all be like different continuities, or like one's a prequel actually, or
Yeah.
something
yeah,
like
I have
that.
no idea. But
I know there's a Wolverine movie.
Oh yeah, Logan.
Well, there's Logan, but then there is also like just a Wolverine movie like from like 2004 or 5 or something. I think.
Yeah, something
Oh.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard that movie was like really bad though. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm at least interested to look into it now because I totally didn't care before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say, I will close this with one more thing. The last scene, I couldn't help but think and say aloud that I wonder if there's a bunch of mutant fish now.
Oh yeah, in the Hudson River.
Yeah.
I mean, considering the state of the river already, the fish are probably all fucked up.
Already mutants.
But yeah.
Jeez.
So for what I was coming, I was pleasantly surprised for what it was. I don't think it's fantastic, but it's quite solid. So
Definitely better than Fantastic Four.
yeah,
Fantastic.
either of those movies.
Oh god.
But yeah, so solid movie.
Yes.
Especially
Recommend.
considering there's like a giant stigma for like early 2000s superhero movies. There's several examples that do fulfill that stereotype of movies being terrible. But I don't think this is one of them. So
No.
definitely,
Yeah.
that's good at
Go
least.
for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go for it.
And unfortunately, from this movie, we go to something very different.
Yeah, this will be. I don't.
Can we just end here?
I wish I was ending with this one.
Yeah, we have one more that just looking at both what it's rated, what the genre is, and what the Metacritic score is, I'm not looking forward to this.
I am not
I wish we
either.
were watching this again.
Second time.
Yes.
Just kidding. This is the next movie again.
I mean, it could be good, right?
I don't have high hopes.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a movie that none of us would like,
Yeah, it's
based
true.
on those three things.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much actually. Mine doesn't like the genre. Tara doesn't like the rating, and I don't know. I don't like the I don't like the score. I mean, everyone should hate the score, but I don't like the combination of that. I'm fine with either of those two things, but the combination together is usually bad. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. It'll be an experience, I'm sure.
I don't know. On that somber note, goodbye.
Goodbye.